From CGTN headquarters in Beijing, this is The Hub with Wang Guan.
Hello and welcome to The Hub on CGTN. I'm Wang Guan in Beijing. The Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics is weeks away, and the world is filled with anticipation before this sporting extravaganza. While we are celebrating this grand gathering of athletes, numerous obstacles risk spoiling the party. Of course, I'm thinking of Omicron apparently, but not only. Political maneuvering and posturing in some countries are also looming in the background. Now, my next guest knows a thing or two about that. Mr. Oleg Matytsin is the Minister of Sports of the Russian Federation. He also holds a doctor's degree in sports science. He will share his views about the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics, among other things. Mr. Matytsin, it's an honor to have you with us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be there.
Welcome to CGTN, sir. The Beijing Olympics are around the corner. First of all, I want to get your expectations, hopes for these upcoming games.
Thank you very much. Chinese authorities and the International Olympic Committee have done an outstanding job to prepare the games in such hard circumstances. I'm sure that despite all existing anti-COVID restrictions, the world will see a fantastic sport show. We remember how remarkable the Beijing Summer Games were in 2008. Serious work has been done to prepare an excellent sport festival for athletes and fans. We all know that our Chinese friends have a great experience in organizing big international sport events, and I have no doubt that these games will be hosted at the highest level.
Let's talk about the Russian Olympic Committee, the delegation that represents the country. Even though Russia was not officially at the Tokyo Olympics, the Russian athletes were, and they won 52 medals, putting them in the third place, only after China and the United States. What would be your expectations for these individual athletes this time around in Beijing?
Today, we announced the lineup of the Olympic team. It included more than 200 Russian athletes. We will take part in all disciplines of the Games. We expect a successful performance from the Russian team. Current results of the winter season, podiums in biathlon, cross-country skiing, luge, figure skating, ice hockey, serve as a ground for our expectations. We have a good team indeed, and I am confident that our athletes will do their best, and I hope to see them on the podium many times.
Now, the new coronavirus variant Omicron poses a very high global risk. We saw the numbers passing 1 million in some countries. I'm talking about daily infections there. How will that possibly impact the Beijing Olympics, in your opinion? And how would you look at the prevention and control measures taken by the Beijing Organizing Committee and the Chinese government so far?
Right. We know that the organizing committee is working hard to create the safest environment, and a unique closed circle system has been implemented. There will be a dedicated personnel within the Russian Olympic team, so-called COVID officer, who will be responsible for interaction with the hosts on any issues related to the protection of health of our team. So the measures taken are pretty tight and yet fair, as the athletes' health has always been a top priority. Unfortunately, Russia could not escape from the Omicron. Due to the spread of the new strain of coronavirus, we decided to intensify sanitary and quarantine measures and switch to a closed regime on all training facilities for the Russian national team. More than 90% of the athletes and coaching staff have been vaccinated. By the beginning of the Games, all adult members of the team will be vaccinated. However, there will be daily PCR testing together with strict general health screening. We are constantly monitoring the situation, and we are ready to respond promptly to any changes. It is important for all members of the Olympic team to take all precautions and follow the recommendations. I hope all our athletes will be healthy and go to Beijing with a great sporting spirit.
Yeah, we're praying for a successful games where all athletes, or at least the vast majority of the athletes, are safe and sound. And even though there would be sporadic cases, our hopes and confidence is that the local government and the committee will bring that under control in the worst case scenario. Now, let's talk about one thing of the Olympics. The U.S. is calling for other countries, its allies mostly, to not send officials to attend the Beijing Games for so-called political reasons. How would that, in your opinion, impact the Games and the athletes?
You know, Russia and China always support each other on the issues of international sport cooperation, including the non-acceptance of any attempts to politicize sports and the Olympic movement. Of course, Russia opposes any boycotts of sport competitions, the politicization of sport, and the use of the athletes and sport events for political purposes. We have always stated on every level that Russia provides every support to the Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games in Beijing. The Olympic and Paralympic Games should be a triumph of sport, not a platform for political statements. And China has been preparing for the Games for a long time. As well, Russian athletes have been training to show their best. I'm absolutely sure this boycott will not affect the Games and China as a host.
Now, of course, the Olympic Charter explicitly said that, the Games, the Olympics should be free of politics. It should be, and I quote, no kind of demonstration or political, religious or racial propaganda is permitted in any Olympic sites, venues, or other areas. But despite these explicit rules and non-standing traditions that the IOC is trying to advocate countries to honor, we still see political interference in the Olympics. What do you think about all this?
You're absolutely right. The Games is not a place for politicization and statements either against specific athletes or against countries. It's time for unity, consolidation, trust, and respect for each other. This is what athletes should demonstrate through their competitions. And Russia pays big attention to minimizing political interference in world sport. We have a strong communication channel with Ambassador of China in Moscow, Zhang Hanwei. We also agree on the importance of joint work to promote common approaches in the field of anti-doping work based on UNESCO Convention against doping in sport. Unfortunately, wrong political influence to the sport is growing day by day. And the principle of collective responsibility is actively applied in the field of sport. In such cases, it is athletes, fans, who lose and nobody wins.
We know that President Xi Jinping and President Vladimir Putin of Russia spoke often. They did so again via video link on December the 15th, 2021. How, in your opinion, as the Minister of Sports in Russia, think that China and Russia can deepen their cooperation in pushing forward the Olympic movement and the Olympic spirit globally?
Russia and China always support each other on issues of international sport cooperation. In continuation of the Winter Olympics, it's planned to hold a years of Russia-Chinese cooperation in the field of physical education and sport, 2022-2023. Together with Chinese colleagues, we are going to strengthen exchanges and cooperation in the field of mass sport, elite sport, youth sport, sports science, physical education, and other areas. And very soon before the Games, we agreed to meet with my colleague, Minister Guo and signed a joint statement of the future of the sport development between Moscow and Beijing. And of course, the relation between our president is a great example for all sport world and for all politicians in the world. It's a great example how to build the future of our countries.
The World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, in 2019 banned Russia from all major sporting events, including the Olympics, for 4 years. And of course, for alleged so-called state-sponsored doping programs. And the ban was later reduced to just 2 years. Do you think that is a fair decision?
We respect the decision. We follow recommendations. Of course, we are not agree that, again, to use sport and to use the terminology like a collective responsibility in the sport area. We built the clean sport in Russia According to the last result of the report from the monitoring group of Council of Europe and UNESCO Convention, the Russia fully, absolutely 100% following the all recommendation and not absolutely any kind of mistake during the last year. So we built in Russia the most stronger anti-doping system today. And of course, we believe that all international sport community, WADA, respect this, the way of our motion. And I believe end of this year, the all sanction will come to the end and we be a real member of the sport movement and we will take part in all international events under our Russian flag.
Yeah, indeed. December 2022, which is the end of this year, is the time, the ending time of this ban. I'm also curious, Minister, what has been the impact of the ban on Russian athletes and Russian sports in general? Because I would assume that this ban might have been pretty harsh for Russian athletes or the younger generation of Russian sports lovers. Do you see their passion for sports being impacted or changed in any way because of this ban?
We unfortunately been limited to organize big international events in Russia. But, as a system of national system of sport, we continue to build a strong sport community in our country. And I believe all people very proud to be part of this Russian global sport family. We don't see any big risk that the movement will be more weaker after the ban. I say even more, the All Russian Sport Federation, National Olympic Committee, of course, Ministry of Sport, we do together to build the stability for the future through sport. Sport is a part of the culture. And I do believe that example, our cooperation with China really also give one more chance to be proud of our policy, of our presidents. And for sure, it's a very short time, of course, 2 years ban, but I believe time coming to the end of the ban. And next year, Russia will demonstrate our great resources.
Sure, good luck to all these athletes. We know that you're also president of the Federation of International University Sports Federation, and its mission statement include to create a world where university sport has positively shaped the majority of leaders in society. What exactly does that mean?
You're absolutely very clear. Did explain our mission. I mean, all students, because students is the most active part of the community, and our task is to unite students, to educate students through sport, and to use the university as our great partners. Doing this, we create the special program, Healthy Campus program, United University, sharing experience, university to university, how to organize the work and the sport in the campuses. And I really do believe today's students, tomorrow leaders. And sport is a great tool how to educate the future leaders.
Now, sir, you studied at Beijing Sports University back in the 1990s. You're now an honorary professor there. How would you tell people in China, in Russia, and in the rest of the world about the uniting power of sport?
It was a great time. My starting in the Beijing Beijing Sport University. I'm really very thankful to my colleagues, all teachers and students. Absolutely great experience. It's a perfect example how the sport exchanges boost the development of sport cooperation between countries. In China, there is a saying, mutual trust is the basis of friendship. And sport fully confirms this statement. And I had a chance to see it personally. Now our university, Russian university, Chinese university, and we will continue to build the partnership with Beijing Sport University and Sport University from other provinces of China.
Probably millions of audiences are watching this program. Can you say something to our audience in English about the Winter Games?
Of course, first of all, wanted to wish the health today and to be stronger. It's a great responsibility of all Chinese people to organize the games, and we wish to be together. We wish to demonstrate the great potential of the country and demonstrate to all countries in the world how to organize an event in this difficult time of the life. When we're together, for sure we will win. Thank you very much for this opportunity and wish great success for the Chinese Olympic team.
Mr. Oleg Matytsin, Minister of Sports of the Russian Federation, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Today I'm very happy to be joined by President Giovanni Malagò, President of Italy's National Olympic Committee. President Malagò, thank you for joining us on the Hub here on CGTN.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity for me.
We're getting very close to the start of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. What are the things that you're looking for as a former athlete and now the president of Italy's Olympic Committee when you look at these Beijing Games?
Our hope is to win more than the past Olympic Games, the Winter Olympic Games in Korea. I think that we worked hardly, well, but at the same time, you know how everything was so complicated, caused the pandemic, the COVID-19, but we are very, very hopeful about our results.
And what about the Beijing Olympics in general? From what you've seen, what you've heard about the preparation in the run-up to the Winter Games in Beijing, what are your expectations for these games?
Very high, very high. I spoke several times with athletes, technicians, dirigents of the federations. All of us, we are very sure, we are certain about that these expectations will be realized in concrete. Beijing is unique, is representing China, and China is one of the most important protagonists of our world. So these expectations from our world are really much more concentrated in the specific, because it's very important that after a so wonderful organization of the Games in 2008, and in the mind of our delegations in the Olympic team, a lot of them, through TV, through media, through images, they had a very clear, strong, positive representations of the Games. At the same time, these expectations, but I'm sure the reality of the Winter Games in 2022 will be not less well organized of 2008.
Okay, one reality we'll have to cope with is COVID. The COVID pandemic is still ravaging part of the world. Very few spectators will be allowed inside the venues of the Beijing Winter Games. The spectators will be confined to locals largely. How do you look at the impact of COVID on the upcoming Beijing Games?
I want to say sincerely my opinion as the president of an important Olympic committee, but at the same time as an IOC member. I think that COVID changed quite everything in the mind and in the body of the athletes. But at the same time, there are many of them, or some of them, they found a solution, a key solution for the preparation of the games inside this big, great, huge problem of COVID. We have seen in Tokyo, just to give an example, that some athletes were so capable to avoid all the problems of COVID, and on the other hand, they will not find these solutions. So it's not the final term my last word about this unbelievable item in the world is that it's not possible to generalize at the same level on the 206 different national Olympic committees how they fight the COVID inside their single nation.
Right. We know that Milan and Cortina will host the next Winter Olympics after Beijing, that is 2026. How's preparations going so far?
This is another good question. I spent 1.5 hours before this video conference with the Chief Executive Officer of Milano Cortina, preparing the future board of the organizing committee. Activity, job is going on well. I'm very happy about what we have done. At the same time, I want to be honest. COVID pandemic, it was not a good partner in the last 2 years for all of us, and in the specific for our commitment, our mission, because everything is really much more complicated and difficult, but this is life.
I know it's too early to talk about the transition from Beijing to Italy Winter Olympics, but has there been any sort of cooperation between Italy and China when it comes to cooperating and transitioning into the next Olympics?
I would like to undertitle a few elements about this cooperation. First of all, that the relation between Italian Olympic Committee and the China Olympic Committee are really wonderful. This is true since a long time, but much more than even now. Second, personal relation. I would like to say friendship with my colleague is really, really important. Third, everything will be confirmed, signed with the flag handover ceremony, closing ceremony in Beijing in the 20th of February, when will be the symbolic, but not only iconic, witness between Beijing and Milano Cortina, and with the two mayors of these two cities, and with the two presidents of the two regions, Lombardy and Veneto, and the two governatori of the autonomous provinces of Alto Adige and Trentino, with the presence of the Italian government, and this will be the last act of this wonderful journey from Beijing to Milano Cortina.
Yeah, President Malagò, you talk about additional values. What do you think Olympic Games, in this case Winter Olympics in particular, can really bring a country and its people?
We will remember these years, the games in Tokyo and the games in Beijing. I think Winter Games, of course, in a certain part, a marginal part, will be affected from the problem of the COVID, but the games can give the best answer to the entire population in China, but in the whole world, to demonstrate that life is going ahead, and the images of the sport athletes, the new modern heroes, are the best example for a new life and for support hope, especially in the young generations. This is the real mission of these games, in the specific, the next one.
You know, Thomas Bach, the IOC president, modified the motto, the slogan of the Olympics. He said the motto of the Olympics is now higher, faster, stronger, and also together. Why do you think he added that word?
Because Thomas Bach is not only my president, but is a very marvelous person, and he knows well what the whole world is asking to IOC and from the games. And these initial 3 words with the addition of the fourth together is simply the best, the perfect combinations of these desires.
Thank you very much, President Malagò. Come back again. Thank you.
Ciao China, ciao Beijing.